Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are taking a look at the two new mini palettes from Huda Beauty. We've got the Coral Obsessions and the Gemstone Obsessions. Which one do we want to start with first? Let's start with Coral Obsessions. Inside, it is very on trend for this summer. These are the shades that we're seeing in a lot of palette releases. It brings to mind the Lemonade Craze palette that just came out from Maybelline. Very spot on for summer, very warm weather appropriate. There she is. So there are the shades there, all 9 of them swatched out. There are no shade names in these palettes, so we don't have to go through that ordeal of me trying to figure out which one is which. But there they all are there. You get 2 shimmers and the rest are all mattes. And you can see just from the swatches that the mattes are nicely pigmented, very smooth when you swatch them down. Just one swipe down and there is the pigmentation there. The matte shades in here perform every bit as well as they did in the previous palettes. They're velvety smooth. They do produce a little bit of kick up when you dip into them with the brush, but nothing that should be off-putting to anybody, and they blend beautifully. You can build up the pigment, but I would recommend just going in with a light hand first and then building it up from there because they do layer nicely. The shimmer shades, you don't need Fix Plus with them. I have played around with this palette already, and I have worn this shimmer shade here. There it is on the finger. I have applied that just using a flat brush all over my lid. Didn't use any Fix Plus, didn't use a sticky base, and I had no issues with fading or creasing. It doesn't produce an awful lot of fallout, and they are just lovely high shine shadows. I really don't have any negative comments to say. I could talk about shade selection and the fact that there's no dark shadow in here to really add a lot of depth, but as I mentioned with the Lemonade Craze review that I did, that doesn't really bother me because it really is a summertime kind of palette. So keeping things lighter and brighter seems appropriate for the season. And frankly, if I wanted to add a deep brown, I do have them in other palettes in my collection. So as I've said with the previous palettes, I think that the shades are curated very intelligently, and it does lend itself to an awful lot of versatility despite only having 9 colors in there. The packaging is lovely. I, again, as I've mentioned in previous reviews of these, love that the shade names or the palette name is listed on the side, because then you can just stack them all together in a neat little line and you know exactly which one you're reaching for. I guess the only other piece of information to give you is that you can buy it on the Sephora website, and these retail for $35 Canadian each. Alright, let's switch on over to the Gemstone palette. This was one, I will admit, when I saw the launch of these two, I was gonna pass this one by. It didn't really speak to me. However, once I got it, and it was really, I felt compelled to buy it because I have all the other ones, so I felt like I kind of had to complete the collection. You ever get like that weird compulsion? Anyways, as soon as I got it and dipped my fingers into it, I have no regrets. I have 0 regrets in this purchase. It is beautiful, like absolutely stunning. They are all shimmer shades, so there are no mattes in here. As I mentioned earlier, I don't see this as being a standalone palette. I really don't think that I could create a look that didn't look a little odd, wow, odd, without bringing in some matte shades to really sort of blend things out and soften things down a little bit. I've said it before, I really don't mind when a palette isn't standalone because that's why there are so many palettes on the market. You can mix and match, and as you'll see with this look today, I mixed and matched these two and I am very happy with the result. So let's get into the swatches. So there are all of the shadows there swatched out. If you're new to my channel and don't know how I do swatches, I just run my finger around the pan a couple of times. I don't prime my arm, and then I usually just do one swipe down. So that's what I have done here. Finger swatches can be a little misleading, however, from experience, I can say that these shadows are going to apply to your eye every bit as intensely as they do with a finger swatch, even if you use a brush. I really have nothing but good things to say about these palettes. I really do. I raved like a lunatic about the other four, and I'm raving like a lunatic about these ones as well. If you're on the fence, I'm here to push you over. You need these in your life. You do. They're beautiful. Notes. These do not produce a lot of fallout. So you'll see when I apply my eyeshadow today, I did use a base for it, and then I patted them on with a flat brush. I had maybe like 3-4 specks of the purple shadow on my cheeks, but really nothing that would create any potential risk of disaster. So these are beautiful shadows to work with. They are quite soft, they're very creamy, they almost feel wet, like that's how emollient they are, but they're not crumbly, they don't fall apart, they're not dusty. They are just absolutely beautiful, vibrant shades, and I am very, very happy that I picked this up because I almost walked away from it. So final note on these palettes is that they are obviously available online now, but they will be coming to stores May 21st. So if you have any doubts about them, go to the store, do some swatches, and I all but guarantee that you will come home with at least one of them because they are phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I do have a question for you though. If you have the larger palette from Huda Beauty, the Desert Storm? No, that's not right. Desert Sand? What the fuck is it? Desert Dusk. Dusk? Jesus. Desert Storm. I'm pretty sure that's not it. If you have the Desert Dusk palette and you've also used one of these mini Obsession palettes, do these perform as well as the large one? Let me know, because I have been hemming and hawing about that one forever, basically since it came out. The price tag is steep, and I don't want to buy it and be disappointed by it. So if it performs like these shadows do, I'll be buying that all day long. So please let me know if it performs as well as these do, or if I can just save myself some money. Alright, so I'm going to draw an end to this love fest now, and let's just get into the makeup and the eye tutorial. Here we go. Alright, we'll just quickly go through the face. So what I'm using for a primer is the CC Underbase Mousse from Shu Yamara. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. It's a little weird. Like, it's a legit mousse. Like, a little bit goes a long way. So it does help to sort of smooth everything out. It's got a bit of a blurring effect to it, and it is very, very light in texture. There's a slight tackiness, which I don't mind because it helps to grab onto the foundation, but it is very, very light. I don't know, I think it's just the mousse factor of it that's making me feel a little weird because I'm not used to putting mousse on my face, but overall, like, there's very little scent to it. And it is a nice product, so I don't know what my problem is because it's actually really quite nice. For foundation, I'm going to go in with an oldie but a goodie, the Infallible Pro Glow from L'Oreal. And I am using the shade 202 Creamy Natural. And I'm just going to use a sponge from Maybelline to apply that. And then for concealer today, I'm going to use the Lock-It Concealer from Kat Von D, and this is in the shade Light 18. To set all that into place, I'm going to use the Cosmic Face Powder in Haze from Stellar Cosmetics. For bronzing and contouring, I'm going to use the Cali Contour Kit from Smashbox. There are the shades inside there. For blush and highlight, I'm going to use the Diamond and Blush Kit from Natasha Denona. So you're getting two blushes, one's a cream, one's a powder. You have a cream highlight and a powder highlight as well. This is sort of like a blush topper, like it's a really strong pink highlight. And then over here is like a diamond, they call it a diamond powder. I don't see that I would use this on its own as a highlighter. There it is on the fingers, but I wear it on my eyelids, especially for like low or no makeup kind of looks. And it's just a very, very pretty shine. Not glittery, but very shiny. And now it's time for eyes. Life, man. I opened the door up because Patches was sitting outside screaming the song of his people. So now he's in here right by my feet, but all I can hear is Bennett, who is displeased at how fast his father is feeding him lunch. You know what? We're gonna roll with it. So I'm gonna start by prepping my eyes as per usual using the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. There's really no shade in either of these palettes to set that base down with, so I'm just going to reach into a different palette and grab a light base shade. So these palettes don't have shade names to them, so I'm just going to show you the shade that I'm using. I'm going in with a crease prep brush from Real Techniques, and I'm going to pick up this light peachy shade down here. These shadows do produce a fair amount of kick up, so you want to tap off the excess or else you will get it dripping down onto your cheeks. And I'm just going to buff that into the crease and up towards the brow bone. So you can see that this shadow just blends beautifully. It almost blends itself. There's no stubborn patches where it just grabs on and it just shears out nicely, and you can build up the intensity if you want. Just for the sake of expediency, I'm just going to do one eye on camera and then I'll finish this one up before I come in for the rest. Just a slight change of plans because my camera decided to overheat again. I finished, well, mostly finished this one, so let's recreate it over here. So, we've got the transition shade done. Next, I took a MAC 217 brush, went back into the Coral Obsessions palette and picked up this pinky red shade up here. Then I put that into the crease and then blended it up, just slightly above, not as far up as the last shade went, but just to add a bit more color. Once I'm satisfied with the intensity of that color, I'm going to go back in with that prep crease brush. I'm not picking up any additional product at this point, but I'm just going to blend it out. And then if I think it needs some additional product, then I will pick some up then. So the next step that I did isn't, strictly speaking, necessary. Because the shadows in the Gemstone Obsessions are so vibrant and true to color, you really don't need to add any additional prep to the lid, but I wanted to be extra, so I did. I just used a little bit of the primer potion from Urban Decay, and then just picked up a little bit on the brush, just like that. And then I just applied it to the lid. I wasn't super precise about this because I'm not going for like a cut crease look or anything that requires a lot of precision. I'm going to go back in and blend out the crease. So I just kind of slapped it on, frankly. Then I just went back in with the same brush, and from the Gemstone palette, I picked up that shade dead center in the middle, the nice vibrant purple. And then just patted it on. Then, like I said, I'm going to blend out that crease, so I'm going back in with the MAC 215 and just picking up a slight amount of that pinky red shade again. And then just blending where the purple meets. Alright, for the lower lash line, oh my gosh, I went in with this Volare brush. This is the E07 brush from Volare. Picked up the Coral Obsessions again, and then this really warm brown shade here. I just picked that up and then ran it along the lower lash line. Then I just took that crease brush again, no additional product, and just blended out the edges. For my inner corner highlight, I went back into the Gemstone palette and used this top shade here in the corner. And did not use any like Fix Plus or anything like that. But you can see how intense it is just from 2 little pats. These shadows are beautiful. And then with just the leftover on the brush, I just kind of ran that up on the brow bone there. So that's it for eyeshadow. I'm just going to apply some basic black eyeliner. I'm not doing a wing or anything. I'm taking my daughter to her school's play this evening, and I don't think I need to be rocking like a massive wing or anything like that for that. This is bold enough. So I'm going to do that off camera, apply my mascara, pop back in, show you the final look. I'll be back in a second. So that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now. Ah, catastrophe. Oh, highlight brush, where the hell are you, highlight brush? There you are. On this side, we've got the Coral Lips. Powder, what did I say? Okay. Oh my god. I just totally got carried away with myself. When swatches go wrong. Betrayed by an eyeshadow. Fuckers.